Join us this Sunday for a gospel experience, the Well Experience, a time with God, hosted by Emmanuel Smith. An experience like no other. On the 6th September at 7 p.m. with live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. The Well Experience. We hope to see you there.
We dey your fufra bejaso aseda KK Mensa featuring Koda. Ubet me a tier or Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, Deezer, Boomplay, any digital platforms in our song. But modern so beko YouTube no akosha see the video you know subscribe. Memory if you bit me a download your free digital stores na. Eya sida KK Mensa any Koda. Asido ye di menyankopon.
Lord, fill me up and make me whole. Dasi brema mami sesu, brana bashemi ma. Oh Lord, have your way till I overflow. The more I have you, the better life will be. Lord, fill me up and make me whole. Dasi brema mami sesu, brana bashemi ma. Oh Lord, have your way till I overflow. And
more than just enough, more than a ticket to heaven. I wanna be more in love with you. I wanna be just like you. I'm fixing my eyes on you, Lord, till I touch your grace. I want more of you. I want more than just enough, more than that ticket to heaven. I want to be more in love with you. I want to be just like you. Till I touch your grace. Like clouds from heaven. We need you to breathe on us. Fill us up till we want even more. Rain on us.
we want more of you. We want more of you.
With your depth into us, that we may have life and walk in life. Fill us,
Come fill me up.
Join us this Sunday for a gospel experience, the Well Experience, a time with God, hosted by Emmanuel Smith, an experience like no other, on the 6th September at 7 p.m. with live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. The Well Experience. We hope to see you there.
I see the beauty of your grace, oh Lord. I hear the voices of the angels as they're crying out in unity. So we wanna say, so good. You are good. You are kind. So kind. Jesus, you are so good. You are kind. You are
the splendor of your holiness. Your wisdom is forever. Every new beginning you give is like a breath of fresh air. We don't deserve it. Who would have told us that we would be given the best share? Now that we stand with torches raised, with heavenly voices hailing, when he could command the stones to worship, applaud and praise him. His grace is sufficient for us. Faith that essentially God is the greatest intentions. His ways is amazing to us. Made in his image, so who do you think that we are? He basically made us with dust. Gave us his breath that apparently gave us a pulse. His love is amazing to us. He gave it to us and nobody can take it from us. Where would I be if he never died on the cross? I was in debt to sin and then you covered the cost. I was lost, never buried and you brought me on cause. Of course I can't afford it, but your blood is a source of everything that I ever needed, so why would I pause? You the greatest thing I ever knew, you more than incredible. The one who was and is to come, you be the boss. You be the boss.
Lord, you are good, so good. I don't know where I'd be without you, Lord. Oh, Lord, you are good, yeah. Oh, you've been there for me, yeah. Even when people left my life, even when my heart was broken, you
Wow, good evening. I just love this video. Every time I play it, something just wells up inside of me. Emmanuel Smith featuring Obed Syke. Welcome to Chat with Daniel Dadson. It's another great Sunday, and thanks be to God for an opportunity to come your way one more time, live on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and any other platform that you will be watching this later on. But if you are live on this broadcast, I would like to say, hey, thank you very much for joining me. It's such a great feeling knowing that you've taken time out of your busy schedule to make time to join this conversation. It happens every Sunday. The time varies depending on where you are, but thanks be to God. Well, welcome. You know how we do it. Try to make sure that you're inviting somebody to join this program by sharing the link with a friend, with family members, and especially for today's conversation. If you play in the gospel music space or you know someone who does so, be it your pastor, your friend, your family, your member, some gospel musician you like, I mean, just share the link across and make sure you're subscribing as well to the YouTube button, to the YouTube channel on Hack TV YouTube. Click the little bell there to make sure that you will be notified of every video that we put up Okay, so that means us going live and any other events that we put up there, you will receive the notification. And if you are live on Facebook, hey, thank you. Share with some friends, share with your groups, share. Just make the program go very far, because today I'm going to be having some amazing gentlemen who are, I call them stalwarts of the gospel music industry in Ghana. There are three of them who will be joining me today, and we get to talk about gospel music promotion in Ghana. We go back into the past, we try to dissect what is happening currently, and then we look into the future. So this is a conversation that I believe would be a blessing to a lot of you who are gospel musicians, a lot of you who are thinking of recording, churches, anyone who pretty much has something to do with gospel music in Ghana. This program is for you tonight. You get the opportunity to ask all the questions via the chat section. And also, towards the end of the show, I will be putting up the link. So if you want to come on live on screen and ask my guests some questions, hey, you are welcome. You are welcome. So let me do an introduction of my guests. I have three of them, and I'm just excited because these are men who have paid their dues in the area that they work in. And when I talk about the area that they work in, I am referring to gospel music and the specific things that they do. So my first guest is Mr. Charles Koranteng, who is affectionately called Uncle Charles. He's all of us our uncle. So Uncle Charles is the CEO of African Gospel Music and Media Awards UK. He is also a broadcaster with Premier Gospel UK. He has a show, the Afro Praise Show, that is syndicated across lots of radio stations here in UK, in Europe, in the Caribbean, in Nigeria, Ghana, and a couple of other places. I mean, Uncle, he's been in this game for quite a while, and yeah, he told me some time back that actually he wanted to be a musician. Maybe I'll ask him when he comes on what happened to that vision and that dream that was given by the Lord. But apart from that as well, he is the manager for Diana Hamilton. I mean, Diana is a household name when it comes to gospel music in Ghana, in Europe, and across the world. Anyone who, if you don't know who Diana Hamilton is, just go onto YouTube and Google Diana Hamilton. Okay, so my second guest also will be someone who has played in this space commercially for a long time. He has had a lot of musicians under his management, and he's done amazingly well with them. An executive producer and an artist manager, what have you. I mean, he's been there, seen it, he's done it, events and everything else. Mr. Kwasi Ernest is the CEO of Media Excel. And for those of you who have anything to do with Ghana, or if you have played in the Ghana gospel space, when you mention Media Excel, you know who Media Excel is. And that's a recording label and management label. And Mr. Kwasi Ernest will be joining me. Last but not the least, is a gentleman that I've known not too long, not for so many years, but it feels like I've known him forever. I mean, I have been listening to his show for close to 8 years now, since he started it on Sunny FM. And I remember that I would make sure that wherever I am, I'll get a stream. If Sunny stream is not live to listen to that show, I'll be sending them emails and bombarding them with messages that why is that stream not up? I mean, he's done this show for a long time. It metamorphosed into a television show, and he's been showing, just making sure it brings to the fore all the issues that needs to be talked about when it comes to gospel music in Ghana. He's a banker. He's an artist manager for Akese Brimpong. And if you don't know Akese Brimpong, Google it. Okay, so these are the gentlemen who will be helping me do the discussion this afternoon. So I'm just going to go and bring them on screen and say hello to them, and we get into the conversation. But first and foremost, I have Uncle Charles. Hello, Uncle Charles. Hey.
Hi, Danny. How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm good.
I'm so thankful to you for taking time out of your busy schedule, and it's such a joy to have you. anytime we get to talk, loads of things that we have to talk about, and I glean so much from you. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Awesome, awesome. I'm still waiting for Nii Noi and Kwasi Ernest to join, but let's kickstart. I mean, you have been doing this for a long time now, and you've also been in the end. That is, you manage an artist. You're also a broadcaster, so you've been in the helm of all these things that we were talking about. And first and foremost, I want to know from where you sit, and I'm asking this based on the fact that I know you have been outside Ghana for a while. So from where you sit, how do you think that Ghana gospel music, the promotion of Ghana gospel music, has been like for the past few years?
Well, you did mention that I've been out of Ghana for a while, but one of the things that I've ensured is make sure that I keep in touch with whatever is going on in Ghana. And I go to Ghana a lot of times. So I'm kind of in tune with what's happening in Ghana. With regards to what's going on in Ghana, I think we can safely say that music in Ghana is going somewhere. It's not where it should be. That's my personal opinion, but it's not where it used to be. I don't know if that makes sense. It's in the process of getting where it's supposed to be. It's not there yet. I think there are a few things that need to be tweaked here and there. But yeah, I mean, things are looking up.
But Nii Noi is here. Let me bring Nii Noi on, and then hello, Nii. Hello, Nii Noi. Can you unmute your microphone for me? Hello.
I don't know. The sound is bad.
Right, but I can hear you clearly. So I don't know. Are you struggling to hear? If you have some earpiece, maybe you can pop that in and see if it will improve.
I think I'll go out and come back. The sound is bad.
Okay, so no problem at all. Okay, so all right, we'll have Nii back. We'll have Nii back. But Charles, let me come back to you. Let's look at promotion, gospel music promotion, and then specifically Ghana gospel music promotion. And let's go back into the history. And this time again, I'm asking based on the fact that you have been out of Ghana. So for those gospel artists who have been out of Ghana, and for those who you've dealt with over the years, if we consider the history, how was it like back then when we didn't have social media and streaming services and all those things? How was it like?
I think it's very important that you've actually introduced this by talking about before social media, because the landscape was completely different before social media actually took off. So for an artist who was here, and with artists from here that I've worked with in the past, if you had music that you wanted to promote back home, then what you had to do was either look for an executive producer who would get involved with your music, take you to the studio, make sure your music is produced. They chose the producer, they chose the studio, the music comes out, and sometimes they bought the rights.
Okay.
And when they say they buy the rights, what they mean is that once you've produced the album, they give you a fixed amount of money, and then everything comes to them. So what they do is they plan the marketing, they market everything else. And in fact, I've known in the past, I've known artists who, once they've actually sold the rights to the executive producer or to a company, even when they need CDs to sell, they have to go to this person to buy CDs themselves.
Oh, okay.
I've dealt with artists who, when they were traveling from Ghana to come to the UK, they're like, oh, I don't have any CDs. I need to go to this person and buy some CDs to bring with me. And that was how it operated then, until the advent of social media, where that aspect has now improved, where artists can literally have access. They have access to the market, can put stuff on social media, and depending on your marketing strategy, people can have access to your music from day one. So artists now have a bit more control, so that's the main difference. Whereas
Right.
previously they didn't have that much control over their own merchandise or the work that they did. I think now things have shifted slightly where the artists can actually control what goes out, when it goes out, who it goes out to, and all of that stuff. So that's mainly the difference then. So it depends on how you look at it, because I've been listening to a lot of conversations in Ghana and spoken to a lot of people, and one of the things that I hear is that, oh, we don't have a lot of executive producers now.
Yes.
Well, it has its advantage and it has its disadvantages, because if you're talking about not having a lot of executive producers, what people are usually talking about is somebody who would actually hold your hand and take, all the costs involved in producing your album or producing a single. But then on the flip side, now the artists, and we'll probably come to that, for me, and that's my view, an artist doesn't have to go straight into the studio and produce an album. The little amount of money you have, you can produce a single and then start pushing it out there, which gives you control because you're self-financed in that sense. So that's how
you become an independent artist.
You become an independent artist because with the advent of the internet, I think it's encouraged more people who are willing to take a chance to become more independent and not rely on a record company or an executive producer to push you behind. Yes, an executive producer would have all the connections probably in the media to introduce you to people, or a record company might be able to do that. So in that sense, it's easier if you're under a management of some sort, if you're under the management of a record producer, an executive producer or a record company, because they might already have links in the industry with different radio stations, with music aggregators, with people who can push your music out there in that sense, and probably take the cost of publicizing your music or making your music known to people. Whereas if you're an independent, then it becomes a bit more difficult at the beginning to get yourself out there, to get your work known by people. So you have to do the pros and cons. You have to balance it and see which way you want to go.
Let me bring Nii. Are you good now? Hello, Nii Noi. Hello. Hi, Nii. Looks like we still don't have Nii. Let me dwell with the system of the executive producer marketing the music from here, because that is what you used to deal with. An executive producer, those times, how did they go about it? How were they able to get maybe a music of an artist based here in UK, Europe, US? How were they able to get that into Ghana and maybe other territories where the artist is not known, and be able to move that music? How were they doing that?
I think it was usually based on recommendations, or somebody's music might come to the notice of someone, and they're like, well, I'd like to invest in this person. I mean, for every person in the industry, for you to work with someone, you'd want to see somebody with potential. And Daniel, you've been in the broadcasting industry for a while. You might hear somebody's music and you're like, boom, this person. My wife and kids would tell you we've been to events where it gets to a point where you have a knack for something where you can, I don't know whether it's intuition or what, but you see somebody on stage and you're like, this person is somebody you can work with, or this person has some kind of a future where you think it might be worth investing in them. And I think that's how the executive producers worked. The way the executive producers worked was maybe somebody introduces somebody to you, or you might come across somebody's work and you think is worth investing into. And it is an investment if an executive producer is taking on somebody's work, because at the end of the day, they're putting so much money into your work, and then it becomes more or less like an investment. Yes, there's an element of ministry in it, but the bottom line is that if I'm putting 100,000 into somebody's music or somebody's work, then it only makes sense that you get that money back. So you can probably help somebody else, or you can plow it back into that ministry. So that's how it worked. On recommendation, having come across somebody's work where you think is worth investing into, or somebody has a message that resonates with you and you think, let me help put this message out. So that's how that system worked. And I think, when my colleagues from Ghana come up, they might also have something to say about that as well.
Absolutely. We have one of them who is up and smiling. Nii, are we good now? Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, Dan. Grateful to join in. Greetings to Uncle Charles. Long time.
Yes, sir. How are you doing? How are you doing, boss?
How are you, Uncle
Charles? Good to see you. I'm great. Yourself?
I'm great. I'm fine. Good to see you.
Good. Good to see you too. Good to see you.
You can see your works in Ghana here.
As for that one, it's God that's doing his thing. We thank God that, they say horses and chariots are prepared for war, but it's the Lord who gives the victory, isn't it?
The Lord gives the victory. Right. Nii, thank you one more time. I mean, I started the conversation by trying to find out from Uncle Charles how promotion was back then, situating it in territories outside Ghana. Now, you have worked in this space for a lot of years, and you have been in Ghana, and you're still working in it. How was it back then? Because this afternoon I was thinking about this conversation we will be having, and I was just trying to figure out how the likes of Evangelist Kusibe Ekong, how the likes of Yaps, how the likes of Daughters of Glorious Jesus in those times, Mary Ganza, how we were able to get their music all over the place in Ghana. And there was in social media, there were not a lot of radio stations. So let's just talk about maybe 2000 coming down. How was it like those times from where you sit?
Okay, Daniel, I think that I listened to Uncle Charles for a while, and most of the things that these people are experienced than some of us. So most of the things that he said are what happened then. I think that to sum it up, then it was handled by investors.
Okay.
So the investors will go all out to make sure the song from the artists you mentioned, the Yaps, the Reverend Kusibe Ekong, Daughters, all of these people, they were handled by investors, Big Ben, and all of that, and they'll make sure these songs go everywhere because of the monies their returns they will get. So those were the times of cassettes before it moves to CD. So they invest a lot. All the artists had to do was to go and do studio records. Even got to a time studio records were handled by these executive producers, because when they were doing this chain, they're all always looking at their money. So that's where you see that gospel music were being mixed with secular music. Those times, gospel music, a lot of them were high life. So you could see they will do some Amachi the day, you can see a Daughters there, and it could flow. And those were the times that gospel music could pick lots of awards. Take it back to VGMA some years back, that VIP and Daughters took the same awards on that night, and they brought a whole lot of control.
Yeah.
So those were the years that investors put their money in, so they wanted money back. You understand? So they focused on the business side of the ministry, and they put so much because they understood the cassette business, they understood the CD business, and they knew they were going to get returns out of this business. So they themselves, it's just like you are selling tomatoes, or you are selling, let's say, parts, or you are selling sanitizer, which is quite common now. And like a no-co sanitizer, I want people to know of it. you do TV adverts, you do radio adverts. In this instance, you do promotion. So those times they had promotional CD. You know,
Right.
so they release albums, but 2 songs are on the promotional CDs, and they hit on those 2 songs. Go to every radio station, pay radio DJs, radio presenters. You know, that time there was no Facebook, so it was radio stations, TV stations, and those times the TV stations
they hire trucks, they hire trucks, vehicles, put sound systems on them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they'll go around and they'll be selling it. And those times was advertising cycle on Metro, GTV, and you have to put your songs there or video to play. It's not like now that we have like over 40, 50 TV stations that they go to YouTube, put the song, and they start playing. You know, those times you had to play the song whichever way and promote the song whichever way, because you had invested 100,000 or 200,000 and you were expecting more, because you know cassette sales and CD sales go fetch you more. But we'll come to the now later. That I think those times were golden. Those times were treasurable. Those times were times that I believe that if we're still in it, gospel music would have been something else here in Ghana. But I think that what has made us lose all of this is the understanding of the new times. You understand?
Okay.
These investors lost trust of the CDs, cassettes, and all of that. And going into it, coming into the new technology in Ghana here, when this new technology was coming, even my mom, she was a secretary. I remember those days, she was a secretary in one company. She was using typewriter. A computer. And computer had come, and she didn't know computer, so she had to stop. You understand? So those are the times, and people were not changing. You understand? People were not adapting to that change. So it caused a whole lot of revolution here in Ghana. So basically, this what happened then. Probably we'll come to the now later.
Yes, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned something, that those days were the golden age of gospel music, right? And I'm trying to just figure out that. So what did we miss coming into the now? What was the missing link? What is it that we were not able to carry along from those times? Although we find ourselves in a digital age, what is it we couldn't take along?
The understanding of the change we are going into. It took a while before, even now, people still don't understand the digital age we are entering into. It took a while for Ghanaians, because if you look at the cassette to CD, the change was a little smooth than CD to digital, to Apple Music, to iTunes, to all of these big bands and things don't really understand this modern technology. They what they understood was my cassette.
Yeah.
You understand? The 50,000 I've spread it through Ghana, and I'm expecting so much. You understand? But the CD thing, the digital thing, they don't understand it. They don't understand how to go back in, to go and monitor that, Selena Boateng sold people 50,000 people stream their songs. They don't understand how to go to Deezer back end. And businessmen must understand a system before they invest.
Absolutely.
So it's they don't understand. Well, that's what I and not only the gospel, into all the other sectors. But funny enough, I don't know how the secular people are getting used to this thing.
I think Nii Noi has made some very, very, very important points there. And you were talking about the transition from the old technology to the new technology. And I think we were a bit slow, especially in the gospel sector. We were a bit slow at catching up with what was going on. With regards to investors always want a quick turnover.
Yeah.
So if I put my money in someone, I'm not going to wait for a year before I start seeing investment. My profits coming back.
Yeah.
The thing with the digital age is that it takes a while to build up for you to get to that stage where you can actually see the returns coming in. The question is that investor ready to, one, educate themselves with regards to the new technology, and then also wait that I've invested? And that is very, very difficult. Ghana, if somebody's putting 100,000 in an artist, they can use that same 100,000 and to import rice, and they'll make profit from it.
You'll make 100% profit.
They'll make 100% profit. All they have to do is import rice and sugar. And so why would I want to put my money in someone? You see, so that is what happened to gospel music, and I think at some point in time as well, people didn't think that the technological advancement will catch up with us so quickly. Because like you're saying, I mean, I was talking about his mom being the secretary who was, use a typewriter. And you'd be surprised that there were people around that time who never thought that the computers were going to be on our phones. When I bought my first computer, my very first computer cost me almost £2,000. And if I look at the capacity of my phone now, what my phone can do now, my computer couldn't do 1,000th then.
You mean the
Do you know what I'm saying? Even the £2,000 computer. Because I used to have floppy disk, and then if you remember floppy disk, what was the capacity of a floppy disk?
Maximum was like 5 megabytes, something
5
like
megabytes or something like that per floppy disk, right? Meanwhile, I have a phone now which is about 160 something gigabytes. Do you get me? The processor is faster. What am I driving at? What I'm driving at is the fact that we did not anticipate that this technology will catch up with us so quick, and it has. So it's found people wanting. Now, the other thing as well is that usually for one to be able to key into the new technology, you have to work from A to get to Z. But oftentimes when people have invested in an artist, they are skipping the A part and trying to get to the Z part. So they are starting from somewhere in the middle. What do I mean by that? When did you start going on social media? And social media, whether we like it or not, unfortunately, is about numbers. So the more people you have, averagely, these are the people who will be accessing your music. These are people who, if you have a bigger number, obviously a bigger number out of a bigger number will be buying the music.
Absolutely.
But when people transitioned from the old technology to the new technology, people hadn't thought about building the numbers. And if you don't have the numbers, it's going to work against you.
Uncle, hold it there. Thank you. Hold it there for me. We'll dwell on. I'll come back to this particular point that you've made, and I want to quickly bring it on. And since we are talking about executive producers who had to invest money in those times, I think Kwasi, Dr. Kwasi Ernest played very well in that space, and he can really.
He's a big one.
he can bring some experience to bear on the discussion. Dr. Kwasi Ernest, I salute you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sir.
I can see that you are on the road, but thank you very much for taking time out to join us.
I'm doing the risky thing, driving and trying to connect. I'm telling you. So if you wouldn't mind, let me just do a little parking, and I'm just parking now.
That would be fantastic.
Okay.
All right.
Chairman, so
now,
let's leave you park and then
talk to me now.
All right. Okay. Good. So thank you.
Okay,
so
I'm back now.
Okay. Great. So we've started looking at how the promotion of gospel music was in Ghana back then, and Michael Charles and Nii Noi, has spoken about how investors, executive producers, had to put in their money and do the marketing and get the money back and stuff. But currently, it's not like that. So I was trying to figure out what it was that we missed coming into the present future. But let's go back again. I know you played in that space well because you have been an executive producer. You've produced quite a lot of people, done the marketing and all those things. How was it back then?
Okay, so I think that back then, it was more realistic. I mean, being able to calculate your revenue, So because of that, the energy for you to maybe go to a bank and secure a facility for a particular artist project was quite much more or less like So it was very comfortable because you can walk to any bank and then say, okay, give me 100,000 cedis, and then the bank will give you a payment schedule. Okay, so you are paying in 6 months. You are paying, and so they ask you which artist maybe are you using the money to, and I can tell, okay, I'm using it for Hima Messi or I'm using it for Kofi Sapon, and then possibly the bank will look at that. Then because you are sure, because we've tested these brands and we know the kind of material, the content, the products that they are bringing out. So if you look at it, those days recording, I mean, producers don't even care going to hire a sound engineer, a songwriter to even pay as much as $1,000 for a song, because we were very much on that level. So it's about a song coming out for people to buy, because you can be able to trace your resources and then being able to go and pay to the bank. And so the aspect of taking facility and then matching it with revenue was quite evident. And so it wasn't too much of a dangerous for anybody to pick money and decide to pick on a brand and invest into the artist. You understand? You can even take money and even decide to even pay the artist a front money. You know, those days, that's how we're doing. I mean, when you sign the artist, you can sign, some people will sign as much as 1 billion. I know, for example, Big Ben was signing for them big monies, like 100,000, 200,000, thereabouts. And quite, even with the gospel space, people were signing with front money here and there, because, I mean, and you are not even scared, because you can take a facilities, sign an artist of 50,000 Ghana cedi front money, and then you can even use 50,000 Ghana cedis to start a production, and in 3 months you'll be able to recoup much more, such that you can be able to pay the loan and then still even get enough money to do production or continue with the promotion without even going back to the bank to even borrow any other money again. You understand? So, for example, like in those days, like my new artist, Emilia, that she's even like her production. Like now that, like with all this airplay and this all round, that she's even number 3 on the gospel chart. I mean, I wouldn't even need to bother anything about money, because by this time we have even sold about 20,000 copies, which in return should be enough to even be able to continue with us to promotion, take us to the other regions, go to Kumasi, Takrady, Cape Coast, and all these places to even foster intensive promotion and what have you. But as we speak, all this that we have is not in our hands anymore. All this, I mean, Nii Noi will tell you, we don't have the privilege for music, and that people are even afraid now to take on brands, because the aspect of where to pay the money, or where to, recently there was even a discussion in one of our major platforms where an investor wanted to give us $200,000. An investor, Nii Noi will testify to this. An investor wants to give us $200,000 for us to use it to pick some selected artists and produce them. But then his only intention, his only requirement was that he's giving us a year to be able to pay the money back. And you can't guarantee that. That we should go and prepare a financial plan and then bring it to him and how we are going to pay the money in a year, and then he will release the 200,000 for us. Between myself and Nii Noi and other members, so today we are not able to do the financial plan.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
Wow.
You can't guarantee. You see, and this is what I was talking about.
So,
you see, like
this is how it was. This is how it was, and so it looks it's a bit tricky and very, very funny from where we sit now. Believe me.
Right. Yeah, Uncle Charles, you wanted to say something.
I was saying, you know, Dr. Ernest, what Dr. Ernest was saying is very, very true. I mean, if somebody was to give you that sort of money now and tell you, it's like you have a crystal ball and you're saying, oh, in 200, he will be telling you a lie if he tells you in a year's time you get your 100,000 back, because and it all depends on how the model has changed now. As you were saying previously, it was predictable. You know, this is how much I would have to pay DJs. You know, this is how much I would have to pay, maybe somebody who would brand a vehicle. You know, this is how much I have to pay for billboards. I need to take the person on a tour. They will sell such and such. That is not how it happens anymore now. In fact, artists even hardly carry physical CDs on them these days. So it's changed. It's changed so much. It's changed.
Let me go to Doctor again. Doctor, let me come to you again. Let's look at how the process was done from the bottom up, how these artists were built up, and how the branding and promotion was done in those times. Because I remember that those times you will be there and all of a sudden maybe you just hear on AGMMA all over the place. So all of a sudden you hear Estella something, all over the place, and who is under a particular management. So how were these artists discovered and promoted to be formidable brands and investors? How was it done?
Okay, so in those days, this is how the system worked. Apart from individual discoveries, that maybe a producer visit one particular church or goes to a program, and then you see one fine lady or one fine gentleman, maybe with a microphone, and then singing, and then wow, I mean, and if you are technical, if you are a technical person, I mean, if you look at an artist who has not even recorded, and then you look at the potential, if you look at the potential the person is exhibiting from there, you look at yourself and say, wow. And then there's a wow factor in those days. Also, it was much more of a talent sort of thing.
Okay.
You discover the talent, and then you are marveled. And then maybe you exchange telephone numbers, or you ask the person to come and see you. And then that is also. And then we used to have a few individuals like Nana Oti, Nana Boateng. I mean, these individuals, I mean, they were like they were in the American Republic, like, I mean, and they were the people that were recording the artists. They are like the masters in the game in Kumasi, and so they will record, they'll write a song, use their own money to record the artist, and then after when they have done that, they will promise the artist that I'm going to get you a producer. So if you remember, an artist like Christiana Love, I mean, was discovered by Nana Boateng. They did the production, and then after they came to sell it to Big Ben for the Holy Ghost, the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
All those songs. If you remember the history very well.
Yes.
Yeah, I stand for correction, but I remember that was a story. You understand? You have all these ones, and then if you even remember, Kofi Sapong came to my church. We were having a harvest in my church, and then he came to sing. And then, I mean, they mentioned that, oh, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, welcome Kofi Sapong on stage. And then I look at the young man who has not even recorded. And if you look at his swag and his dynamic on stage, I say, but an artist who have not even recorded. I remember those times I was working with Stella Dugan. If you see an artist who have not even recorded and his swag level is like this, what will happen? What will happen if you decide to? What will happen if you decide to record this young man? So right from there, we exchange numbers, and then here Kofi Sapong is. So this was a system. It wasn't. It wasn't a formal practice of like opening an office and people coming to sign. They go through audition. Like what is happening these days. There was nothing like audition. People come and sing here and there. No. It wasn't like that. It was purely of mastercrafts, talent. I mean, if you can do it, you do it, and then there's a wow factor in you, and then somebody to decide to sign you on, and then you exhibit your talent, and then boom. So if you look at all the traditional artists from Mary Ganza, Stella Dugan, the Tego Sisters, all this one, Kofi Sapong, or AGMMA, all of them. I mean, they went through, it was like a master talent kind of thing that somebody saw in and then lifted them up, and then they became boom, here we go. So this was a system. It was the reason why, it was one of the reasons why, actually, in those days, contractual obligations wasn't too much of a problem in when you were signing artists then. It was a system. Because if you look at the way we discover the artists, it was much more or less like a passion, an emotional thing. Somebody, I mean, you discover somebody in a church, and then you see that the person has got a talent, and you want to do something for the person. And then, so you are much more focused on helping the person to grow than the usual tying the person's hands with contract. you know, like tying the person's hands with contract and then taking everything from the person and all that kind of thing. So we never thought that one day they'll wake up and then they'll become three wise men and then even call some of our thieves and our robbers. I'm telling you. So it was
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Wow. Now let me ask, gentlemen, let me ask this one. I mean, Uncle, you are a radio presenter. Nii, you are a radio presenter yourself. Dr. Kwasi Ernest, you are radio presenters. Do you think that the issue where you know, promoters and executive producers had to pay money for DJs to plug songs, and that system, do you think that system has helped in terms of what is happening now? That kind of culture that was created, that you know, that existed, has it helped
You mean
transitioning?
paying DJs?
Yeah, paying DJs. So I mean, the name is Payola. Yeah, I mean that's it. Like paying Payola for DJs to play the music and that kind of, and that was huge investment, because I know some of the producers would have representative in different regions where, as when the stations you know, the station began to grow, they representative maybe in Kumasi, another one in Sunyani, Tamale, and all those kind of things, where they will put in money because they know, like Dr. Kwasi Ernest has said, that they're going to get the money back. Now, that system, do you think that it has helped us as far as transitioning to the digital age is concerned? Nii Noi, let me start with you.
Okay, so I think that it's a system we came to meet. It was started by our big people. Like, we came to meet them. Fortunately, unfortunately, the system has helped and not helped us. Because you know, those days when we didn't have a lot of radio stations, we didn't have a lot of TV stations. So when you pay someone for promo, you can measure it easily.
Okay.
Yes, but now we have, even in Accra, we have over 45 radio stations. We have like over 40 something TV stations in Accra. So now it's becoming a little difficult to monitor. And let me add to it that the DJs are also becoming smarter. Unlike those times, you know, those times no munim sikasa. You understand? But
okay.
Our people started with money. Now they understand money. You know, you give them a little money. They play it for some weeks. Once they stop, you understand. So I don't. I think it's helped and not helped, because you need to get the money to put your foot forward, and also that's money thing.
I wish I'll come in here small.
All right. Okay.
I wish I'll come in here small, if I'm permitted.
Yeah, Doctor, come in. Doctor, come in.
Okay.
Come in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The payola which you are talking about in other form, that is referred to as unacceptable appreciation. It's in fact, that's actually the definition.
What unacceptable appreciation?
Oh, Dr. Kwasi Ernest is gone.
Acceptable appreciation was. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Yes, we are. There are breaks, but we can hear you.
Yeah, unacceptable appreciation was a monster that we created that finally came to eat all of us up.
Okay.
Now this is what.
Okay, fine.
This is what exactly happened. There was only one, like Nii Noi was saying, there was just one radio station and possibly one TV station then, as at that time. Right. And so when private music investors entered into the trade, there was, because they have put in a lot of money and they needed to get the money, the quick returns, as I was describing to you earlier, there was the need for them to adapt a system that will allow them and their works receive higher playing peaks or higher playing or view audience. so that they will be able to. I mean, and you know, it's applicable in every marketing product. That if you want your product to be known, of course, then you need to apply proper marketing concepts. So it was a professional method. Yeah. So it was a professional method that we took it out, and then apply local ethics to it, and allow it to work. So we applied a system. So you have individuals that will have to go around, and then in fact, even those days there was segment. We call it the segmented broadcasting, where we have a few radio presenters who are on the payrolls of record labels.
Okay.
You see, we have few individuals who are on the payrolls of record labels, and then so when they release their works, I mean, the individuals, they are much more or less like offshore employees of these record labels. They fire the songs back to back. In less than 2 weeks, the song is a hit. In less than 3 weeks, producer. And then there was an outgrowth of radio TV stations. Expansion was coming. And then the same people, in those days, were using 1,000 Ghana cedis. We're using 2,000. Now there are extensions. So now your budget line of marketing and artists, that used to be 2,000 cedis, because of the extension and the need for you to increase your airplay and then double your sales, you need to then bring on board a few of those individuals also to come and continue working with you. So by extension, you need to increase your your marketing budget. And then it was on. So he went to 100,000, 10,000, it went to 20,000, it went to 50,000, until it got to a time that now people said, oh yeah, because now, so now the system has swallowed us up. So as we speak, there are very great talent out there who naturally, maybe out of support, can release a song and is supposed to have received, I mean, a wider promotion without anybody going around giving anybody money. But because of the monster and the way the system looks like, these artists are being hidden and like
it looks like we are losing you. You've got a very
to you now, and Uncle Charles will bear me witness. It will cost you close to 252,000 to 256,000 Ghana cedis to produce a gospel song in 12 months.
Right.
12-month budget, expensive.
Right. It looks okay.
Can you hear me now?
Dr. Ernest. Yeah, Doctor. Yeah, we keep on losing you. So I don't know if maybe is it.
Can you hear me now?
Are you? Yes, we can hear you now.
Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. All right. Okay. Uncle Charles. Nii, I'll come back to you. Uncle, let's look at how this particular situation we are discussing. How was it like when it comes to UK? Was the system similar or different?
Okay, so we're dealing with two completely different systems here. So whereas in Ghana, as Dr. Ernest is talking about unacceptable, how does he call it? Unacceptable appreciation.
Unacceptable appreciation.
Over here,
appreciation, yeah.
Exactly. Over here, the system is different. It's completely different. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if somebody wants to appreciate somebody or, sow into somebody's life or whatever, then, they were free to do that. But the system is such that is not how the setup works. The setup is such that your system, your music goes through registration, is sent out to a radio station. Once it's sent out to the radio station, it's down to the station to decide whether your music gets on the playlist. Okay, so depending on the strength of the song gets on the playlist, and then after that is going through the system, and the artist rather gets paid for putting the music on the system. do you get what I'm saying? So,
right.
You know, if you compare that to Ghana, it's completely two different systems, really. And it's completely different. And as Dr. Ernest is saying, it worked then. But now that we've moved on, unfortunately, if I compare that to Ghana, it's moved on. And I don't blame the DJs, because that's what they've been used to. That's how the system has worked. So in that sense, then, now the problem is that the monies are not coming to the artists, or the artists are not getting the funding to be able to make those inducements anymore.
Yes.
So there's a bit of a disconnect. So the DJs are like, "I say, Uchia, you have to come and do this thing, but you're not doing it. So how do I play your music?" Because that's how they function. That's how the system is set up to operate. So where we need to actually wake up is, how do we bridge that gap?
Yes. Just, you know something, and actually, and in the middle of this whole pandemic, there are the sad part of it is that there were individual radio presenters who, out of all this, people were taking money on all that, even sacrificed themselves to even become like godfathers, and were pushing most of these artists and most of these record labels.
Oh, yeah. I've been watching. I've been watching. I've been watching.
But when the artists became hits, or when the artists became big, instead of these same artists going to show a little appreciation, they end up neglecting them totally. So therefore, it became like, but why would I even? People are collecting money, and me, I'm not collecting. I want to use my conscience and then help. And then people are eating, me, I'm not eating. So if that's the case, then let us all jab into the mat, and then let the whole thing. So there were actually a few good men who were willing to sacrifice their platform to support artists. But then when the artists themselves also became big, or the record labels get their money, some of them also refused to go back and even show some little of appreciation. And so that is what even worsened the matter.
Dr. Ernest, can I just say something? I think you've made a very, I think you've made a very important.
Go ahead.
I think Dr. Ernest has made a very important, point there. What Dr. Ernest talked about is, it boils down to relationships. And I think relationships are very, very important. So you're talking about helping somebody out freely, and then helping a record label out freely, right? And then maybe, people are humans. And as he's saying, some of these people might be expecting, look, those of us you see on here, Nii Noi, Dr. Ernest, and many others that I can talk of, being involved in gospel music is a matter of the heart.
Yeah.
Dr. Ernest has been around for a long time. And I can tell you, some of these artists that we hear about, he could have invested in some of them, and he could have been reaping big time. The reason why he did gospel, or the reason why Nii Noi will manage Akesi Brimpong, is because he has a heart for gospel. He has a heart for the things of God, right? Yes, he wants to be blessed financially, but the bottom line is that he has a heart for the things of God. So when people like this go out there, all they want is for a relationship to be maintained. Whichever way the relationship is maintained, that's fair enough. But when then, after they've done all these sacrifices and everything else, and Kwasi Ernest is talking about the fact that, you get accused of all kinds of things. Sometimes you're human. You're like, okay, why even bother? You understand? And I think that is where right now, transitioning from that period where people used to pay DJs to play music to where Brother Ernest is now, it's become very difficult, because he might have an artist now, but it might probably, it might not be financially expedient for him to put money up front to give to someone, because he's not going to get the returns back quickly anyway. And as we're saying, the model has changed now. Do you get me? So whereas before he would have been happy to do that for a certain artist, he will hesitate now to actually do it for a new artist because he's human. At the end of the day, he also has to think about his family. He has to think about his children. So that is where we're at the moment. That is where the difficulty is.
Okay. Let me ask this one. Oh, Nii, go ahead. Go ahead, and after that, I'll...
What Dr. Ernest and co were doing back in the days, now it's become more wider and it's more expensive now because those days in the radio stations, the presenter was the DJ, but now most radio stations have adopted a new strategy. They have a DJ who is different from the presenter. So if you go, and Dr. Ernest will bear me out. So if you go and give Papa bills for a Dome drive time, you don't have to forget the presenter. You understand? So right now it's become more holistic and more expensive.
Nii, are you by this one saying Papa Bill is
I
Viola?
didn't say that. I beg you. I'm using for example.
I think it was just an example. It was an example.
Okay. So I wanted to clarify. It was good to clarify.
Yeah, it was good to clarify. Papa Bill is my friend, so I beg you. So like I was saying, that you need to give even now it goes down to producer because if the producer will even want something, because if he sees that DJ presenter is taking, you see producers, unlike those times that Dog Them started, the DJ or the presenter is on the record label's payroll, so they don't even know what goes on. You see, he gets his alert and he goes. You understand? But now, how the thing is, they see that when you are playing Blessed too much, they say, hey, because for instance, let me say a radio station was playing Blessed too much, then the DJ there, the presenter was playing Out of Love, and the DJ there called me and was like, Charlie, the presenter, you give him something. I said, no. I was playing Out of Love. So that's how it is. So it means you need to give presenter, you need to give his DJ, and at times even the producer.
And you need to give the producer. Right now, if you don't take care, you might even have to give the programs manager.
Thank you.
Yeah,
but right now the situation is even becoming broader because we have people we call bloggers and vloggers. You understand?
Okay, but Jeremy, I have a question.
Okay,
Jeremy, I have a question. Now, my question is that realistically, let's look at it from this way. Every company, when they produce, they do marketing budgets.
Okay.
The marketing budget that companies prepare is for the advertisement of the particular product they have produced.
Exactly.
So, looking at this whole system too in another way, don't we also think that the concepts of paying unacceptable appreciation in one way or the other, in our level, in our terms now, represent marketing of the artist?
No. It's
represent marketing of the artist and the brand which we represent. Because
marketing. But you see, the fact is, even if you don't appreciate that part of marketing, forget, your song will just be a nice song on your phone or on Apple Music.
So in that
you understand? So I don't have any problem.
Then let us. So therefore, then we need to. Now I'm looking at a way in which we will turn that monster that was developed years back. I'm looking at the way that we can turn that monster into becoming and then transition it into a marketing strategy for an artist. So if Uncle Chas is coming to release an album, Uncle Chas will know that, okay, this artist that I'm going to release, I need a marketing budget of about 50,000 Ghana cedis to be able to market the artist. And within the 50,000, there's 10,000 is going for billboard, 20,000 is going for social media, bloggers, and then another 20,000 is going to maybe the unacceptable appreciation people. And then we look at it. So when we crown it like this, then the system doesn't become evil again, but it rather becomes a marketing attitude, which every brand must adapt to achieve excellence for the artist.
The reason why that is not working, Doc, unlike our corporate institutions, is that, for instance, our corporate institutions, a corporate institution, so I can make an example. When we pay monies for adverts to be played, we pay money for another monitoring entity to monitor if Adom or Joy or Peace is playing my advert. because you are paying a lot of money. So let's say they pay 200,000 to one station, then they pay a monitoring agency maybe 20,000 to monitor if that advert is being played. Let's come to our circles. We don't have that money to monitor. I know there's a company called Good Music who does monitoring, but even they are not monitoring all radio stations in Ghana. So if we are going to go by that formalized structure, then we need to go pay the big agencies who monitor TV adverts and radio adverts to also monitor.
For them to monitor.
Okay, you understand? So that when you are paying your station 50,000 to play songs and they give you slots, okay, I'll play it at 320, 350, 360. Are they going to stay by it? If they're going to stay by that marketing thing we are talking about, then it is good to set out the budget, do all of that.
Gentlemen, let me ask. I have a question that I've dwelled on for a while. Still within this premise that we are talking about, has it allowed, quote and unquote, maybe some not too quality music filter through the system and dominate, and thereby driving the interest of our audience towards accepting any kind of music? Has this system allowed such infiltration? Do you think so? So I don't know if the question is clear.
Go ahead.
The truth is that, gentlemen, a bad song is a bad song. Even if you pay £100,000 and we share the £100,000, I've seen people coming from London with good budgets. I've seen people travel from US and come to Ghana with good budgets, with good money. I carry them in my car, we go around and we share to the people and everything. Yet the song doesn't make it. You can pay $1 million. If your song is bad, the maximum higher rotation you can get is 1 week or 2 weeks. The rest you are dropped aside. So that mathematics, that assertion of allowing bad song to infiltrate over good music, I don't think it's actually true.
Okay.
If the can I just say something?
Uncle, come in.
Dr. Ernest has just said something, and I think that is one thing that a lot of musicians need to be aware of. That you might give a promoter your music, pay them music to promote your song. But when the promoter takes the music to the station, it's out of his hands now. The presenter can decide they play this music once, they don't like it, and therefore they won't play that music again. Because at the end of the day, remember, that radio presenter has a reputation to protect as well. So if I'm playing something that, excuse me, is rubbish, people are going to think, what's happening to Dr. Ernest now? Why is he playing this kind of music? What is happening? In fact, his bosses at the radio station will query him and say, bro, what's going on here? What are you playing? Do you get me? As a radio presenter, if you send me music, it doesn't automatically mean that I'm going to play the music. Does the music actually fit into the sound of the radio station that I work for? Yeah. Are you getting me? I might even give your music to every one of my colleagues. I might get your music on the system, but there's no guarantee that your music will be played. So the bottom line is that it's up to you to make sure that your music is up to a certain quality or a certain standard before Dr. Ernest can actually be bold enough to say that, look, this song, come on, play this song. I know this song will do the work. So once the song leaves his hand, in as much as he can, he has influence on some people, he can talk to some people and all of that, it's out of his hands, basically. It's not down to him anymore. So that is where sometimes somebody might be, I've paid this person a certain amount of money. My music is not getting paid. Well, it's down to the presenters to actually decide whether they want to play your music. So I can influence them. I can talk to them. If they don't like it, they don't like it. Somebody might send me a song. If I don't think the song sounds right, I won't play it.
Right. I mean, what you said is so true. I remember I was on a show for 2 years. So I did a show called Ayimbre on Kiss FM in Takrade. I ran that show for 2 years. And I remember that after the first year of the show, those times it was the GAMS report. It was picked up by the GAMS report as one of the most commercially viable radio shows in the Western region, where advertisers wanted to put their money on. And like you said, what I did was that, I mean, if the song is good, I'll play. So nobody can come and tell me, oh, give Daniel. If the song is good, I'll play. If the song is not good, I won't play. So if I play and later on, you want to appreciate, that is fine. But then what determines my playlist was not, you have to give me something to play. Even if you bring that up front, I would decline it for the moment. I'll tell you, hold on, let me see if the song makes my playlist and that kind of thing. And for me at that time, I worked and contributed well to my show. Dr. Ernest, you are muted. You are muted.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
This particular point that you just raised, there's a problem with it. The problem with it is that there's something that corrupts a person's mindset to become criminal. There's something that corrupts a person's mindset to become criminal. The moment somebody comes to your radio station and gives you an envelope, money, whether the person's song that fits into your playlist or does not fit into your playlist, there is some kind of unofficial bond that exists between you and the person, such that even you yourself, you don't play the song, and you are walking on the street and you meet the person, you are shaken by the fact that you feel guilty. There's some kind of you see why we term that we call the thing unacceptable appreciation, because the thing is like a soul conscience. It's like a soul conscience. So you collect my money, and then after you are telling me my song does not fit into your playlist. Then so are you saying that my money meets your playlist, but the song doesn't meet? So this is where the contention actually lies. That for me, instead of going into the details of whether the song goes into fit your playlist or it doesn't fit into your playlist, we need to find a way to formalize marketing procedures and marketing music. That is one. Two, it is incumbent on us as producers and also for us to build our brands and encourage them to record good content, songs that meet international standard, especially even now where music has gone global in a different format. It is important for us to now look at people whom we are recording. So if I'm going to London and give Uncle Charles £1,000 to play a particular song, Uncle Charles will accept that money even on condition that this one is purely marketing. But then apart from the fact that the thing is purely marketing and I have a relationship with Ernest, the material that they themselves they brought is also even being needed by the UK market. That if I play it, it will resonate. It will bring some reference to even me, myself, my personality for playing such a material.
Dr. Ernest, I wish I can get that £1,000 very soon.
Emilia. Dr. Ernest, Emilia.
When are you bringing that £1,000? I wish. I wish.
I could not. The borders is open. I'll be bringing it very soon.
But the border is
so I mean, let's try and now look at what can be done. I mean, presently, I think Nii Noi gave a brief of how the system is, and Uncle Charles, you spoke about it as well. How it's now presently. So gospel music promotion in Ghana now, it's we find ourselves in the digital age, but like you said, it has not been fully understood. The people don't still don't understand how to properly navigate that space. On that premise, or based on that, what can be done? What is it that people should look out for? What is it that people should do? How should they embrace? What are the baby steps to take in order to make sure that they can properly get to understand the system, use the system effectively to market, promote their music, whatever. Let me start with you, since you run TCA radio.
So I must say that first of all, we need to look for a way to get our investors back. And like Kwasi said, I'm in a bank, so I know how these things work. Big Ben and things go for loan, especially even in Ghana. If you are selling tomatoes and you are going for a loan to buy more, you get a loan than someone who is doing music now in Ghana, because the tomato seller can give records of, I sold so much last month and this is how much I'm getting. But it will be difficult for the musician to give the record label to give those statistics. That is why now we see a lot of record label owners who have other businesses trying to invest in record labels. We have other people who are successful who are only doing music, and those people can be seen in the secular scenes like Richie and all of that. But
the links entertainment.
Yes, exactly. But what I'm trying to say is that the first thing is that we need to make our investors understand the new system, the new ways, the new things. Because first of all, we appreciate that they were investing their monies and they know that I'm producing 50,000 cassettes or 50,000 CDs and I'm getting this amount of money. But now we need to make them understand that the digital platforms are there and we need to make them know how to go back end. You understand? To read these figures and make them understand, not their PA, because those times they were understanding the system. It's not enough for your PA to understand the system for you to invest. You yourself must understand the system. So if Dr. Ernest understands that if I go to the TuneCore back end, I can see a millions Apple Music sales, iTunes sales, Deezer, Spotify, and all of that sales. And I can see all of that, and I know that within a year I can make maybe a $10,000 invested in. Then that should be the first appreciation. You understand? If they understand that part of the element, we can see them bringing back money. Like for instance, the $200,000 the person was talking about. The person was talking about how are you going to get it back? Because the person really does not see how the CD thing, it doesn't work again. So he wants to understand how the digital stuff works again before you get the 200,000. So I was talking to him on that platform. We were discussing that we need to do a cost benefit analysis for the person. You understand? And break it down. And because of the amount of money the person is investing, we need the artist who is there already. There's someone who at a click, at the release of a song, we can get 100,000 streams. You understand? And also the $200,000, you can meet it. We need to give us another 2 or 3 years before we can meet that money. Because if a Joe Metal at the release of Yesumo first day is trending number 1 on Apple Music in Ghana, it means that he can get over 100,000 streams per day, which is a lot of money to for the investor. But if Anekwe Media, who is now coming up, releases Famisi, you will not get that 100,000 clicks in a day. So if you make them understand these things, then we are moving on correctly. Number 2, we need to formalize, look for a way. Doctor said it, but I think it's going to be difficult. But we need to look for a way and formalize this radio promotions very, very well. It's going to be difficult again, like I'm saying, but we need to look for a way. The Table of Men, I know you started some discussions around that level, so that we need to look for a way to formalize these things. You understand? So that like I'm saying, if you are playing, then the monitoring agency too is monitoring for me, so that I'll not be paying Payola and nothing comes out. That's number 2. Number 2, we need to understand the fact that aside the radio presenters, now there's a new blog of people, which we call bloggers and vloggers, which at a click, they have following. Zayo Felix has like 1.2 million people on IG. Kobiti has numbers. Even the gospel bloggers, Christian Vibes, he has numbers. So at a post of your artwork or your link, the people direct their stuff there. So we need to understand that these people also have a stake in it. So we need to go and see them to also start creating conversations around your artists. You understand? So every day you wake up, they've created a conversation. They create Millions new song, Famisi, where like they're creating conversations around the artists. That's what will make people's minds go there. Because it's a new tool we need to also take very, very, very serious. If you don't take that tool very serious, forget it. Forget it. We can't go anywhere. And the next step is that we need to also look at digital advertising, placing our acts on digital spaces like YouTube doing promotions there, Instagram doing promotions there, Facebook doing promotions there. Because see, the person will not be happy to see a promo on your timeline or on all those places. But if he's going through Facebook, he sees a sponsored ad which is placed by the artist or whatever.
By the artist.
Yes, you know, when you see that sponsored ad, you see it directs you straight to the YouTube link or the iTunes link or whatever, and you get numbers there. And it's also a new form of promotional tool that we need to take very, very, very serious. So right now, you see, right now it's becoming difficult. In Doctor's days, it was only radio and interviews that you could get there. But right now, you have to add all these elements. You understand? That is why the fan armies created by Sata and Stone are helping them, because the fan armies are these numbers that, you know, immediately they do something on Twitter, it is buzzing everywhere. Everyone is talking about it. And I realized that Akrotas is trying to do something like Team DH, which I realized that it's
I'll ask him about it. But it looks like when it comes to fandom, the whole study in itself. I mean, when I did media, I think one of the modules that I did, it came up as a topic, fandom, which modern artists employ to make sure it drives their work, like you've just mentioned. Like, that is a very difficult thing for Christians.
Yes, I think unfortunately, we are not doing it well here in the gospel space. I think that it's not something bad. We shouldn't shy away from it. You know, it's just like churches. You know, churches with denominations. You know, you try to mark your territories. You know, mentor your people, follow your sheep. I think we need to take it in that light. So, like, I see a lot of people do hashtag Team DH on Facebook. You know, Team Dinah Hamilton. You know, and I don't know if they are formalized. They have a page. They communicate and all of that. I think that is something we need to be considering now, so that when we come together, that team could start pushing our works. You know, together. Because if SAC, for instance, this. Dr. UN Awards thing, when Sat took it, the whole Twitter was buzzing. It was his fan army. That was making the whole noise about it. You understand? So for instance, you know, when Dida took the award, I think the next day she was dancing and all of that. It was a few people around the gospel people that saw it. But if he had a very strong fan army, she would be trending on Twitter and everywhere, and everybody would be talking about, hey, look at Dinah, how she's, you know, like, you know, made it. So the fan army is one new aspect of emotional thing that we all, and Doctor, I've had a discussion with Dr. Two on this. We need to take seriously and start looking at it.
I was going to ask Doctor a question, but it looks like he's on the phone. Uncle, let me come to you. You have always mentioned that artists need to consider genres of radio stations, and even when it comes to if we have to extend it into blogs and digital marketing for the artists, they need to consider how their music fit into those spaces. Can you shed a bit more light on it? Like, let people understand why it is
okay. So
your song doesn't fit everywhere.
Let me use a biblical analogy. You know, if you go into the Bible, there was the parable of the seed sower, okay, who sows on different grounds, and the results were different. So people have gotten into this notion of the fact that, okay, I'm sending my music out because that's the new way of doing it. The question is, are you sending it onto the right platforms? Are you sending your music to the right station? Because before you send a song to a station, you need to be able to listen to the station and find out what kind of music they play on there. So if you're sending your music to a station that is a jazz station, and you're sending a high life song, to start with, that's a waste of everybody's time. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of everybody's time. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So that is one of the things that people need to be aware of. Listen to the sound of the station. Even in Ghana, what Joy FM will play will be different from what Adom FM will play.
Yes.
What Adom FM will play will be different from what Sweet Melodies will play. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes,
so you might find that an artist like Akesi Brempon, some of Akesi's songs will be played on Adom, but might be played on Joy. You might find that on Star FM in the morning, Brother Emmanuel might play a particular song by Akesi Brempon, but then you go on another presenter's show, they won't play that song there. So identifying the right station so that you can, whether it's an investment, whether it's an inducement, whether it's promoting your song there, first and foremost, that is absolutely necessary. And then secondly, Nii Noi has spoken a lot about, all these promotional tools. And I think he's 100% spot on. I mean, as Christian artists don't necessarily look at the patterns of secular artists to do what they do. But then the point is this: there are principles and theories which work for everyone.
Absolutely.
Be they a gospel artist or be they a secular artist, if you apply those principles to what you're doing, plus added prayer, then it works.
Absolutely. So it's like running a business, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like there are principles as to how to run a business successfully. It doesn't matter who runs a business. If they use those principles, it will work.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense? So,
yes.
Nii Noi is talking about things like the back end stuff. The question is, do a lot of Christians actually even utilize the back end stuff to find out analytics? How does analytics influence how you structure your song releases? Which age group are you targeting your music? If you look at your analytics will tell you when you release this type of song, this is where that song is listened to. Maybe your American market listens to this song more. So next time, where am I going to target my publicity when a song like this is released again? All these things are tools that as musicians, we should be conversant with. You can't expect somebody to do these things for you. So I think for musicians as well, musicians need to really educate themselves. There's a lot of information out there now, but people need to access this. Somebody asked a question on the platform about the fact that what do we, because we're talking about the right music, and we're talking about to promote your music, you have to have the right music. What do we define right music to mean? In my, maybe, Dr. Ernest and Nii Noi might have a different definition, but my definition of the right kind of music is that one, the right kind of music is the music that sits well with that station, one. And then secondly, we're talking about the production process, the quality of production, lyrical content. And when I'm talking about lyrical content, gospel music must be gospel music. It must be talking about the gospel, but put together in a way that is pleasing to the ears and pleasing to the soul. If I'm listening to a song, I want that song to speak to me, my present situation that I'm in. The song must apply to me. Do you get what I'm saying? So production quality is up there. Instrumentation up there, lyrical content up there. The song is nicely mixed and mastered. Okay, the dynamics of the song, sound separation. These are all the things that a radio presenter is looking out for, or somebody who might want to help your ministry will be looking out for. You put it out there, they might hear it and then decide this is what we want to do. I don't know if I've answered your question. I know
you have. Thank you.
I can talk for life.
Thank you very much. Let me, Doctor, let me come to you quickly. Your mic is off. But hello, Doc, your mic is off.
Yeah, I'm on now.
Yes, let me ask you this quickly. I know time is fast, and I'll release you to go shortly. Nii Noi.
I'm still here.
Okay, awesome. That's good to know. So, Doc, Nii Noi spoke about the fact that for those of you as an executive producer who played in the previous era and could add your numbers up. Now there is a challenge with the present era in the digital space. For you and where you sit, how do you see this working out for your colleague executive producers who would want to come back into this space?
Hello? I think whilst we're waiting for Dr. Ernest, I don't know. I think maybe he's having problems with his. But I think if I can, okay, go on.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, Uncle Charles, you can make your point. Yeah.
Oh no. You the question was directed to you, but because it was
Yeah. See, the whole thing is that it's important it's all about the mindset. This whole this whole agenda, this whole mathematics is all about the mindset that a new generation of producers or financiers trying as much as possible to change their mindsets towards the new system of marketing, the new system of production. Because if you recall, that is what actually caused majority of us from switching from maybe the analog system of marketing and promotion to the
Looks like I've lost him in a bit there. The network is playing up.
Can I just chip in there a little bit?
Yeah, chip in before
I think my view on that is that anybody who wants to go into gospel, whether they're an executive producer or whatever, must go in for the long haul. It's now a long distance race rather than a sprint. So the old model was such that I put money in, after a short while, I'm going to get my returns. But now you're involved in the development of the artists. You're developed in creating a brand, which brings in numbers, and you're involved in setting up systems around the artist that works. It's become a lot more sophisticated rather than just putting money in and getting money out. So the first question that anybody who wants to go into that kind of if I can use the word industry, is to ask yourself whether you're in for the long haul. The journey now is not for the faint-hearted. The journey now is for people who are dedicated. Journey now is for people who are prepared to sit down with an artist and strategize, are ready to sit down with an artist and look at the numbers, look at analytics. How do we make this work here? If you're not prepared to do that kind of work, it's going to be very, very difficult. It's more sophisticated. It's more sophisticated now. So you start from A and you build to get to Z or C or wherever. And that includes finding strategies to promote the artists, building their brand, building their fan base, if you want to use that phrase, building their followership on the various social media, platforms, presenting how the artist is presented to the world in itself. You can't just call yourself an executive producer. If you're an executive producer, that's fine, but make sure that you are putting these structures in place as well, so that it will benefit the artist. I think that's where I would come in.
I think to add to it, so I'll say that. I think to add to it, so I'll say that per what Uncle Charles is saying, it means that then now those 2 years, 3 years contract for artists is not going to work.
No,
because like he's saying, it's no more sprint.
It's long term.
And yes, I've been doing that for 7 years. You understand? It's not that people are getting to know the name and and all the things you work for. You understand?
And all the YouTube revenues are coming in, right?
By God's grace.
I mean, for people, you are talking about being with Akesi 7 years. I've been with Dinah now for 10 years.
Yes,
over 10 years.
Yes, over 10 years. You see, so
you build it.
Are coming in. You build it. And you have to understand. You see, if you don't understand it, you will lose it, because people come in and they want to make a hit in 2 years, 3 years.
No,
if they don't understand the system, forget it. You are not good, because like he's saying, if you are building numbers, now you are building numbers on Facebook, you're building numbers on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube especially. And you're not going to build those numbers in 1 day, in 2 days, in 3 days. Even at times a year can't get you those numbers. I know people who started 5 years back and they still not gotten those numbers. So it's constant work, hard work.
Nina, let me chip in.
And before you finish, before you
Yeah.
go, let me give an example. Tim Goff in Nigeria, before he brought the Naira song, he had a lot of.
Am I here?
So when they
Yes,
invited
you
him
are.
to Ghana, yes,
I'm here, right?
To Ghana, people.
Yes, this is Africa for you. When you come to Africa, we have internet problem. So now,
so like I was saying, when they invited him to Ghana, he was performing a whole lot of songs in 1 hour 30 minutes. People were shocked. They were like, so this guy had all those songs. So after that, they went looking for songs. So my guy, my lady, the upcoming artist looking at me, just prepare, get a lot of songs, record a lot of songs, put it there, put on YouTube. Immediately one song breaks through for you, all those songs will start getting the views again. Another example we have here in Ghana is Joe Metal. When one song you got that breakthrough, go look at the numbers on all those songs of 2012, 2013, 2014. They all start getting the views. They all start getting the hits again for him.
Yeah.
You understand?
There's a
So
chain
we
reaction.
need to
There's a
understand.
chain reaction.
Yeah. So we need to understand that principle.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Doctor, before you come.
Am I back to my point, or?
Yeah, I will get you to come back to your point. Nii Noi,
Okay, all right.
I was going to say that, this issue of art hoping that or rushing to get massive numbers in weeks, in months, it's kind of problematic, and sometimes people find it difficult to understand it, and puts them in the position where they get exploited. And for months now, that is what I've always been trying to speak to, especially upcoming artists, that listen, you need to have the requisite, you need to take your time. I've had people contact me and like, I can get you. I'm doing something with a gentleman called KK. Oh, I've seen you promoting somebody. I can get him 20,000. What do you call it? YouTube subscribers, and I asked the question: how are you going to do that? Are these people real subscribers, and they are not prepared to give me the information how they are going to do it? So I just said, you know what, forget it.
Danny, can I just say something? Can I just say something? And anybody who is out there listening to this, if anybody approaches you and tells you that they can get you 20,000 YouTube viewers in a day or in a week or in a month, they are not lying. Yes, they can, but don't go for it. And I tell you why I'm saying don't go for it. It's like you're tickling yourself and laughing. Nobody is telling the joke, and you are tickling yourself and you are laughing. What are you laughing at? So you've got 20,000 views, but it doesn't actually tell it doesn't, how do I put it? It's not
a true representation.
It's not a true representation, an evaluation of who you are and the impact that you're making. One. Secondly, now people don't realize, especially on YouTube, how YouTube works. YouTube is such that now the first 368 views can be repeated. Yeah, it can be repeated. After that, YouTube actually have algorithms that check whether bots, i.e., computer robots, are doing your views, and they will lock it all down. I know an artist who put a song out. Within the first day, this artist had almost 50,000 views in the first day. After the first day, we saw the numbers coming down. Yes, because the system has now picked out that some of the views were by robots, not by human beings. And do you know that this song has actually been out for almost a year now? The views are stuck at 25,000, and it's there till now.
From 50,000 to 25,000.
From 50,000 in a day to 25,000.
That was promotion. He received really good promotion.
Do you get what I'm saying? So anybody who tells you pay money, they can get you and stuff like that. And when I go on somebody's site, I can, whether it's Instagram or whatever, I can tell whether the followership is genuine or not. It's very easy. So people shouldn't kid themselves. I saw somebody put a question on there that based on what I'm saying, then it's very difficult for a new artist to get their work out there. And I say no. And I'm saying that based on my own. I think it's somebody called, is it Opambo? Kojo Opambo says, if I get Mr. Koranteng's point, consistency works. But then it's very difficult to get your song out there if you're a new artist. And what I'm saying is this. No, be consistent. Keep on producing quality work, because a lot of the stuff that I play on my show, there are artists that I don't have a relationship with. People that I've never met. I mean, I play music from Ghana to Nigeria to Cote d'Ivoire to Rwanda to South Africa. I've never met. Yes, I have a relationship with some of them, if you can call it a relationship, because some of them will drop me a message or whatever. But a lot of the stuff, I mean, recently there was a guy, I picked up a guy's song. I've never heard from him. I never knew him, never heard his name. Nobody had introduced him to me. I just came across his music. It just popped up on the radar. A guy in Ghana called Edem Evangelist. And I'm really talking to presenters in Ghana. They've never heard of the boy. And I heard his stuff. I'm like, what? This guy is one of the young guys there. And I keep playing his music on every single show of mine. I've never spoken to the guy. He's never spoken to me. I just love his music because he's produced quality stuff out there. So you see, this is where the element of being spiritual comes in. I don't know the prayer that he prayed for his music to be discovered.
Okay.
And I discover music like that all the time that I think is great. And I put it out there. So don't despair. Don't think that because you don't have, just be consistent. Keep doing what you have to do. Keep producing quality music. And we can't say this enough. Quality music. And at the right time, if you don't faint and you keep pushing on at the right time, you know, God will reveal you to the right people at the right time. It happens all the time. And I've seen it happening all the time.
Awesome. You are still on Chat with Daniel. That's my guest, Dr. Kwasi Ernest, Uncle Charles Koranteng, Mr. Nii Noi. Doctor, let's come to you now. We have you stable now. Yes. So
I'm in the office now. I just entered my office.
Lovely.
The office Wi-Fi is working good.
Great. So, Doc, tell us now. I was asking that yourself and your colleague executive producers, from where you sit, what do you think can be done presently and into the going into the future? What do you think can be done?
Okay, so I think that the first of it that we need to do now and identify, first of all, is to look out for where revenue will come from, where we can build on our revenue. The hope of attracting revenue from the new generation of music. If any financier, if any producer got the belief that if I put $20,000 here, I can get it, nothing will stop that person from even investing $100,000.
Right.
That is the part. But that thing can only happen if we begin to change our mindset and then study the system, the new trends of marketing, promotion, and what have you. Because, like I'm telling you, majority of us were not too smart enough to tap into the digital music market. As at the time when music was even switching, we were still dependent on Kantamantu. People were still opening our shop. In fact, as at the time, even we saw it open and glare. When we saw it that this thing, we were still even printing CD jackets more than 10,000. If you come to my office here right now, you come and meet Kofi jacket about 10,000 copies here. Wow. So as a stand, you can look at this stupidity. So the only thing I have now is maybe to go and burn it. You see? So we were not smart enough because we thought that the system, and this thing that I'm talking to you, Daniel, do you know that this thing happened also with the era of moving from cassette to CD?
Yeah.
It happened during the era of cassette to CD, and a lot of producers, a lot of musicians who fell down from the era of transition from cassette to CD, fell down, and to today they couldn't resurrect again. They couldn't revive again. You understand? And the same trend, the same mathematics is eating into this current dispensation of producers again, such that you have people who are totally bankrupt now because we weren't smart enough to follow the system and the transition. We were too comfortable within our old marketing regime, too much comfortable, such that we allowed the system to come and bypass us. So as we speak to today, majority of us, we now look like GSS students because we always have to run to Nii Noi's demos. We are running to hiring people to come to here, update the songs on iTunes. Just too cumbersome. It's too stressful to the extent that at an old age hitting 50 years, sometimes you look the thing crowd not even exciting, like because you are driving and you are checking what song is on iTunes, what is on Boom Play, what is on this one there, and then you have to update Instagram, you have to update Facebook, and then you go to YouTube, and then about some granny.
Oh my goodness!
So it's a whole mental thing we need to work around on.
Okay.
Another part of it, which we also need to look at it, that I am seeing something like the 21st century gospel musicians are too much on competition than ministry.
Okay.
There's some kind of competition which is boiling within musicians. I don't know what trophy they are chasing. If you ask me, I don't know the particular kind of trophy whether it is the UEFA Cup they are chasing or the World Cup they are chasing.
Or the UN award.
Or the UN, because because I mean, a new artist comes to you, and maybe you, the producer, you want to take your time and prepare him or her very well to meet the challenge coming, and then he's already talking to you about hitting 50,000 on Instagram, hitting 60,000 on Facebook, hitting that, and you could see that the person is not prepared. You don't even have the material to compete on that speed you want to travel. You don't, the kind of speed you want to go, you don't have that amount of fuel in your car. So how do you want to go that amount of speed? And then it becoming a cliche. So if you look at it right now, there are too many independent musicians, very good, but they are working out there, and their music is looking like a television, black and white TV. They fluctuate. They go up small, they come down small. They go up small, they come down small. They can't penetrate, but they think around themselves. They are very big, and if you meet them, they are very good, and nobody can even go to the aid and help them, because in their mindset, they have done some mathematical thing which suggests to them in their various bedrooms that they are big. They are bigger than Kirk Franklin. They are bigger than Michael Jackson. So I don't know who is been feeding them with this negative vibes, and it is becoming difficult for them themselves to be. And so, if we can reduce that kind of pressure which most of these young artists are picking up, if we can reduce it and then have a mindset of a ministry and build themselves gradually, like Uncle Charles was talking about, build themselves gradually, and then will themselves making impact into society, building a fan base, that kind of thing. That is why today, if you look at it, the first point that you raised, you have so many artists, when they release album today, the next day they are going all around the radio stations, going for interviews. They go around, then they come to the rest stop, bam, then they've dropped. Then they can't do anything again. No more handicapped. Why? Because nobody has even heard their song, and yet they will sit on radio station and say, my fan base, my fan base. Why do you have the fans? Nobody has even heard your song. You are yourself, your family members sitting there. So what is the fan base you are talking about? And then they'll begin dishing out telephone numbers if you want to. No, it doesn't work like that. That is what we call it promotion. You must give yourself some amount of time, extensively, get yourself connected, implement your Instagrams and all the social networks before you then begin to even looking at a promotional tour to make yourself relevant. So this situation that we find ourselves, it is important for the musicians themselves to have this understanding that the job is not competition. In fact, it's not competition. It is not competition, it's a ministry. We are trying to make impact in the body of Christ. If that kind of mathematics is in your mind, you will focus on doing a proper song than always trying to come and compete in Ghana Music Awards. You want to win Artist of the Year. So even if your song is not ready, cry now. You don't want the calendar year to bypass you. So you force the engineer to release the song for them so that they will release the song before the calendar year passes for VGMA. When you build your life like that, my brother, you become waste. You become waste. If your target is only to win one of the year at VGMA, then it means that your whole target as a minister or as an artist
is wrong, completely.
It's wrong. Yeah. Exactly. It means that you are living your life just to please a social award, and then after you become something else that we cannot even define you. And if you look at the drive, there are so many musicians who are falling down now that they can't wake up again. And in the next 5 years, if we don't have some of these forests and then educate, we are going to have another more about 15 to 20 strong musicians who are going to go down, that they can't wake up again. I'm telling you, it's coming. Watch the calendars. If you look at the generations and how the artists are passing by quickly, it is getting it's getting so glaring that majority of the artists are going to pass without being noticed. And it's all
not
because
making
of
an
this.
impact.
They're not making an impact. They've finished everything. They don't know even what to do. Most of them, and even some of the senior ones, they don't even know what to do. They don't know what to do. Why? They don't know. So they will need a rethinking and repackaging for us to be able to recycle them into the system back again. Other than that, Charlie, it's a difficult situation.
I mean, Dr. Ernest has said something that is very, very, very important. And I think, I can summarize it with a scripture that says, seek ye first the kingdom and its righteousness and all other things. I think sometimes one of the things that some gospel artists forget about the fact that the whole aspect of being a musician in gospel is that you're passing the message to people through your music.
Right.
That should be the most important thing. How can I relay that message effectively? Either through my arrangements, through my lyrics, through my presentation, even through the life that you lead. You get me? If you can get those things right, those are the fundamentals. If you can get those things right, the Lord himself makes sure that he places you on higher ground. That is what it is. I think people are, like Dr. Ernest is saying, people are so quick to want to hit the limelight. And I tell you, some of the artists who have now, if I can use the word, hit the limelight now, some of these people go back 15 years, 20 years.
Look, of course. Look at Dana Hamilton. The other day, Uncle Charles, I was telling somebody that, do you know when Dana Hamilton started? There was years. Daniel, there was years Dana Hamilton comes, sit at
being in the
VGMA.
darkness.
She will come to Ghana, sit in the VGMA, even on notice, no camera person. Nobody will even take a microphone and ask her to come and do red carpet. You can call Dana Hamilton. There was years. That is she, but because she knows where she was going. Today, sometimes when I see some people, they are sharing her flyers and everything. I look at them and I say, "Who knew that you were starting? You people don't know her story." A lot of it, they don't. So, and sometimes we go to the studio and then some people will say, "Oh, maybe I play Dana Hamilton beat maybe."
Oh my goodness! My good. Quickly, gentlemen, let's try and round up. Let's look at the future. So, I mean, I believe that most of the things that you have said, Uncle Charles, Dr. Ernest, and Nii Noi, that you have said, kind of captures what artists should be looking out for if they have to make any impact in the future. But let's zero in into the promotion of the music. Let's consider the way forward. What do you think people should be looking out for? What do you think the focus should be if we have to make sure that the songs, the whatever money that you invest, and then now a lot of artists themselves putting a lot of money to produce their music. What are the things they should do to make sure that these investments don't go to waste, and at least they can in the future break even and keep on doing what they are doing? Uncle, let me start with you, and I'll come to Doctor. Or Doctor, you want to go first?
Okay. Since the two of you is 2 against 1, so I mean, okay. I think that it is quite simple. It's quite simple, and what makes it simple is this. I think that it's important that first of all we understand the dynamics to which we are operating as people.
Okay.
We understand the dynamics that we are using. As I'm speaking to you now, currently on average, plus or minus, it will hit you around 200,000 to 250,000 Ghana cedis to even market a gospel artist.
Right.
From recording, video, marketing, everything. So what a very good artist requires right now in terms of marketing, number one, has to do with a very good team and a well-experienced team. And it is one of the deficits of the industry that a lot of our gospel people, they don't want to pay professionals to manage their career and their craft. I'm telling you, that has brought us to where we are today. A lot of our gospel people, they don't want to pay professionals to manage their craft. And if you find it difficult to do that, then you must as well understand where you are traveling to, you are journeying. So the artist requires a very experienced, well experienced and well-brained team. A team that is made up of strong publicists, strong social media influencers, strong online marketing, strong traditional medium persons, and then what have you. And these people can sit down and then look at the artist and articulate the artist in the arena that the artist is traveling to.
Okay.
With very, very, very good connectors. With very good connectors, you can do very good promotion across the globe. You will be in London, but you are being felt in China. You are being felt in US. You are being felt in Canada. You are being felt in Ghana. If you have a strong team, they will do this for you without you, the artists, even knowing what is happening. You wake up every morning and you are making this in China. You wake up in the morning, you are making this in Canada. This is becoming most difficult for most of the artists to do. Another part of it is that we all acknowledge that promotion these days have taken a different dimension.
Okay.
The new digital age has come in. And if you look at the system now, with bloggers one side, traditional media one side, digital platform one side, the human, the brand one side. If you combine all these factors that I'm talking to you about, then it means that because it is that kind of tendency which has even plugged most of the gospel artists to think that I need to make controversy before I can even sell my song.
Right.
You see that thing? You see where that thing is going? And so from the way that thing is looking now, very soon, because if we are not careful, we'll wake up one morning and then you will see a gospel musician carrying a casket at Kwame Nkrumah circle. And then if you ask the person what you are doing, he will tell you, I am branding myself. Because that understanding has not come clearly. So it's important for us to build some of these forests. It's important for us to build it. When you're able to build this, backed by a very good production and recording, and somebody came to me and I told the person, I said that what every musician needs, you need a good song. And Uncle Charles got it wrong.
Yeah.
The only thing you need is a good song. You can shoot a video costing £30,000. Let your video cost £30,000. If your song is bad, there's no way that song will travel even to Togo.
Yeah.
And sometimes,
but a lot of people don't realize that,
Yeah,
people don't realize.
I'm telling you, and I've been telling people that they go to some cheap studio, they record a song, 400 Ghana cedis, 300 Ghana cedis, 500 Ghana cedis, 1,000. And then they will come and tell you, I'm finished. I said, somebody came and said, are you sure this song is mastered? So the engineer told me it is mastered. I said, go to the engineer, trap him and tell him that I said this is demo.
Yeah, that's true.
You see,
what you're saying is so right.
Yeah, this is very, very important. What you need, and most of our artists, they prefer using the money to buy big lace or big long heel shoes than even spending the money into the song. One song can cost you to buy Range Rover. One song produced very well. So this is, for me, is the mindset.
Okay.
This is the structures, and let the musicians understand together with the prayer. And that's, Daniel, I have said this. If you're a gospel musician and your prayer line is weak, better go and look for some pineapple farm and do.
This is what I was saying. Seeking first the kingdom.
Yes, that's
the kingdom.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you're a gospel musician and your prayer line is weak, oh, Jack, forget about it.
You're not going anywhere.
If you like, let us do all this thing. If you like, let me, Uncle Charles, Daniel, Nii Noi, let's all of us, Kwasi Ernest, come together and manage you. You won't succeed.
Right.
And for me, that is the utmost. It's important as we drive the way forward for the year running up and next years. We need to look at and identify ourselves in this capacity of promoting, and then identify some of these key areas and ask our musicians to look at them and pitch themselves through. The next thing too has to do with relationship. Build strong and formidable relationships with people. If somebody bless your life, forget the person, remember the person, and then pay gratitude. Build strong relationship. Don't bend the walls and the bridges that have given you success. And this is one of the things musicians do not know. If me, Kwasi Ernest, I'm producing you, I will connect you to almost about 400,000 fan base across the world.
Right.
Because I have got connections. Uncle Charles is in London. Alodia is in London. This person is America. All these people. The moment
Doctor, don't forget, Uncle Charles is still waiting for the £1,000.
Yes.
I'm still waiting.
The moment you burn that bridge, at the time of your exiting, you are exiting from 400,000 fan base.
Right.
And which, if you are not careful, before you're able to develop and build that thing again, it will take you a long while. So I'm sure there are other more. Uncle Charles will add some. Then we will move on.
Yeah. I think. Okay, all right, go on. Because your line keeps cutting out.
Your line, okay.
Now that we have
I
you,
think the relationship bit that Kwasi is talking about is a very, 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 very important point that most of the artists should understand and build. You know, there are times that my PA can testify that I just go to some DJs, I just go to their house, we just go and have a conversation. Like, I just spend time, like 1 hour. We are just there talking. Like, that most of the times I remember I'll go with my PA, Abra, she will tell me, but why did you go and sit? I said, I'm just trying to foster something. You understand? So relationship is very, 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 very important. You know, that's what most of our people here don't understand. They want, like Uncle Charles was saying, they want the sprint, 100 meters, and you're there. No, this time it's now 5,000 meters. You know, if you don't understand, you have to go to Kenya or Ethiopia and go and learn it and come. 5,000 meters and you run the test. You understand? Because right now, like Doctor is saying, it is not the easy way out again. Right now, it's becoming complex and it's becoming global. Because we're in a global village now. So unlike those times that Doctor was Kwasi Ernest them were spending and they will capture only Ghana, now you are capturing the whole world. So that makes it more difficult for you, make it difficult for everybody. I heard Uncle Charles, I think this week or was it a week, 2 weeks ago, he was, I think, on Code's Facebook Live. He said that he was just listening to random songs on Deezer and he realized that there was some guy, Adam Evangelist.
Yeah.
Listening to the guy. Yes. I've also gone to listen to the guy. You understand? Someone in UK, the person is a guy I didn't know of. You understand? So this global village thing is what we need to, that concept we need to understand. Put the songs on the digital platforms. Like how Uncle Charles does. You know, at times I go on YouTube, I allow YouTube to suggest songs for me so that I get to know new artists. You understand? So it's very good that we understand these concepts in this new media and new era of promotions.
Thank you. Uncle, come in.
I think Dr. Ernest hit on some very hard facts. Things that sometimes people might think, wow, how do I make this? But I think, you start from your Jerusalem. You start from the little that you can do as a new artist. Sometimes I meet an artist who hasn't released any song yet, and they say, Uncle, I'm working on my first album. Why are you working on your first album? Because albums are not easy to produce. They are expensive. They're expensive. So why don't you start off by producing one quality single?
Yeah,
it's easier to especially if you're new, if you're a new artist. Nii Noi mentioned something like, now you are global. It's difficult, but it's easier because the internet is access to everyone, right? Put your music out there. I heard an artist who said, I put my music on iTunes and I'm not getting anyone. It's your first single. Who goes online to buy something from someone that they've never heard of before? So how about your first single, even putting it out there for free for people to listen to you and know how, and we're talking about some of these artists. Look, some of these artists that we hear of now, there used to be I don't want to mention names, but I know an artist who was literally for every gig paying a band over £1,000 to go play for that person. And after the gig, maybe they'll give them £50 super malt and some pie. Did that for a long time.
Myself and OJ, we went to some program. They give us a malt. And the man said, "You guys are very good. Next year we will go to invite you again."
After giving you the malt. After giving you malt. Yeah. If sometimes if you are lucky, yeah, sometimes if you are lucky, you get a pack of jollof. And they've wrapped jollof fried chicken, super malt, and they've wrapped the plastic fork in tissue. They've tied it with rubber band. You understand? And that's your payment. But what am I talking about? Is about the times of sacrifice. So be prepared to go through the times of sacrifice. Another thing that I think we're not very good at as well, how to get your music out there. Hello? It's not everyone that is a songwriter. And I think sometimes musicians have to be aware of this. If it means if you know Akese Brempong is a good songwriter, hey, speak to Akese Brempong. Tell Akese Brempong, Akese, I like your music. Can you help me write a song or write a song for me? Come to some terms. And maybe you have the voice, but you don't have the songwriting skills, which would mean you'd bring out a good song. I think, Dr. Ernest was talking about Nana Boateng in Kumasi.
Yeah.
Earlier on in Dinah's career, because Nana Boateng wrote some songs for Dinah. You understand? And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with. I hear some artists sometimes say, how many songs has he written? How many songs? Look, some of the biggest artists that we hear of, their songs were written by other globally. Were written by other people. You understand what I'm saying? A song like Alpha and Omega by Israel Houghton. We all know Israel Houghton, Alpha and Omega. Alpha and Omega is not an Israel Houghton song. It was by a guy in a village in Zimbabwe, right? I'll remember his name in a minute. It's a guy in Zimbabwe wrote Alpha and Omega, and Israel Houghton didn't say I'm too big to sing that song. He sang that song by a guy written in Zimbabwe, and it's a big song for him now. You understand? So I think those are some of the things that we should. Let's make use of the internet. Sometimes I go on somebody's telling me, maybe I should promote his music. I go and check on their Twitter feed. And they haven't posted anything on Twitter since 2009. So they've been on Twitter since 2009, or they've been on Instagram since.
I hope you are not talking about me.
No. You are not an artist. You are not an artist. But are you seeing where I'm coming from? Or as a radio presenter, I play your songs. And I tag you in. I tweet your song. I tag you in. I'm expecting that you would actually show. Just last week, I had a phone call from an artist who had sent me their music about a month ago, right? And he said, "Oh, uncle, you're not treating me well. It looks like you're not playing my music." I said, "When was the last time you listened to my show? Because I played your music in my last show, my previous show, and my shows are on other radio stations as well." Right, I said, "If you go and listen, your song was." He said, "Oh, really?" So you yourself, you've given me the song, but you're not even interested. You are not even monitoring whether the song you gave me, I'm listening to
because he didn't pay.
I'm playing. Well, maybe yes. Maybe yes.
Because he didn't pay.
Yeah, if you pay, you money.
Yeah, if you pay, you monitor.
So these are some of the things. These are some of the things that we're saying. Do the basic things before you even go into what the very basic things. People are refusing to do them. In promoting their own stuff the right way. So I think let's start from the basis and then we build up. And Nii Noi has said it, Dr. Ernest has said it, is a long distance race. Or maybe race is not the right word to use, but it's a long distance thing. It's not something that, it's a long journey. It's a long journey. It's not a 100-meter sprint. This is like a 10,000 or marathon. So know that it takes a while. It takes a while. And maybe you've sent your song out, it's not been played. Sometimes some people have sent me songs that they sent me about 6 months ago. So one day I'm sitting down, I'm going through my vote, I'm listening to stuff. I'm like, whoa, this song, how come I missed this song? And I will play it and play. So don't despair. Keep on doing what you have to do. Keep on doing what you have to do. And as someone will say, your time will come.
Uncle Charles, don't you also think that looking at the speed, looking at the yes, I'm looking at the speed, looking at the competition. Don't you also think that it's hard time we encourage most of our artists to also venture themselves into others that will yield them some financial returns? so that their over-dependence on revenue from their music will be slowed a bit to allow them grow in the process. Because sometimes it looks as if that is because maybe the person is that it doesn't have any source of revenue, and the only source of revenue is maybe the only last hope, Kobo, maybe 2,000 he has used to go and record. So he can't wait. He's anxious to start receiving revenue from it and all that.
But it doesn't.
Don't you also think that it also forms the basis for some of this speed and then the sprinter movement?
It doesn't. Sprinter movement.
I mean, for example, gentlemen, I know that a lot of emerging artists follow all of you. I mean, and I've had them. They come into my inbox. They come on our pages. They ask questions and stuff. And for me, even this program, this conversation that we are having, I was expecting that we will have a lot of people here asking questions. A lot of people here assimilating. Yeah, sorry, Nii.
I think there's been some questions.
I've tried to address some of them.
We've tried to, but we know that's. I mean, some of the people that follow and some of the new people, like they will come, but this is it. So this is what we are all trying to do to help shape people's careers for the future. Where this is a pool of information that in another setting you would have to pay consultation to access, but by God's grace, it's all here. And I really want to thank all of you for going. There is a question that came up from last week's program. I think last week's program, which I'm gonna. It's a bit. I don't know what your take is on that, but I had a question last week, and this question was from another artist who is another person who is a recording artist in Ghana, and he was saying that his observation of the Ghanaian music landscape is that we like one king at the top game. It's in almost everything we do. What this does is that we seem not to celebrate more than one person doing well. So when one new guy is coming up, he has to be kept down compared to the one at the feeling he does not sound or perform like that. We drop a lot of good guys. What I don't know. Quickly, can you what is your take on it? Nii Noi, you're shaking your head. You want to go first?
I think that the person needs to research more about the industry. If he says one game up, I'm kind of lost at that one game up thing he's saying. If that is then major award schemes in Ghana wouldn't have nominated 6 artists for Gospel Artist of the Year. They would have just used that one person. They give the one game up thing.
I think if I understand right, what Daniel is saying as well as
in Ghana for the years I've been doing this, I realized that they are like at most 10 people who are getting rotational events even before COVID. So last year you see Joe getting events, and I'm sure if Dana was in Ghana, he would have competed,
Sorry, Nii, we've lost you. We've lost you. Uncle, come in and then I'll go to Doctor. We've lost Nii.
Yeah, I think, I know Nii, before Nii went away, he was hitting on something that, yes, there are schemes that identify multiple talents and try to reward them. But if I understand where that person is coming from, I think that person is coming from a position where they're saying that as Ghanaians, as a group of people, sometimes we find it very hard to identify the fact that, and this is where Dr. Ernest was talking about competition, that spirit of competition. We find it difficult to accept sometimes that more than one person can be good at something. And I think I think that is where that issue is. I think as a people, we should accept the fact that the sky is so big. You see so many birds flying in the sky, but they never clash. The Bible says that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. So anybody should really understand that by allowing somebody into your space or by promoting somebody doesn't mean that you're diminishing, but it's about critical mass. developing a critical mass, so that sometimes that is what collaborations and all these things are about. It's about a critical mass, So sometimes I think people should also identify that, hey, Akesi can do it, Joe can do it, Emoji can do it, Dinah can do it, Celestine can do it. Different people are all doing it, and it's good for the industry. We shouldn't feel threatened because somebody's name is now coming up. I think if I understand where that person is coming from, let me just quickly answer this question here, because Nii Noi was talking about the fact that some questions were coming. Somebody is asking that, how do we monitor radio airplay? Is there an app or all done by agencies? If I can answer from a UK perspective, there are, and Danny, you know this because you were a radio station manager. There are systems of monitoring radio station airplay. For instance, where I work with Premier, for instance, whenever you send a song, you have to send something called a PRS information, and it's all registered on the system. So every time we play a song off the system, the song is recorded, and PRS, without notice, can decide that we're coming to you guys. We are coming to monitor the songs that you've played throughout this period. So with well set up systems, there's a way of monitoring. They can monitor what has been played. So they can come this weekend, they will say, okay, you've played Kofi Sapong's song 20 times. You played Akesi's songs 100 times. You played this person's song 2,000 times. You understand? So there is a way of monitoring it. With regards to an app, I do not know of an app. If there is, it will be something that is professional. But yes, in this system, there's a way of monitoring what is played, and even TV viewership and all of that. So that's why you have the BAB, you have the Raja ratings and all of that. There's a way of monitoring. But in Ghana, maybe Dr. Ernest can.
And I think the artists themselves, you also listen.
So I'm sure that the one that Uncle mentioned is on a higher scale. Uncle Charles mentions on a higher scale. But then I'm sure that what the artist is trying to look out for has to do with if his music is being played on a radio station, how does he as an artist monitors it in terms of whether it's being played locally? And I'm giving a local answer to that one.
Right.
So for example here, so as a manager of an artist, or as you yourself as an artist, what you do is that you categorize all the various persons that are working for you on the radio platforms. You categorize all of them into various platforms. So, for example, I have Accra radio stations. I have all of them on one platform.
You mean WhatsApp platforms?
WhatsApp platform. I have all of them. I have all of those in Eastern region. I have all of them on one platform. I have every radio presenter in Ashanti region. I have all of them on WhatsApp platform. So if I'm dropping Kofi Sapong's song today, and I drop the song on the platform, everybody in Ashanti region automatically have it. You go there and they are playing the song rotational. If I drop the song, you go to Eastern region, all of them are playing. And I have developed that relationship with them for years. Some of the platform I developed more than 10 years now. And all the people are active. They are active as like they become like a family members to me. Like that kind of thing. And they themselves too, some of them, they are even able to report themselves to me. Some of them are able to this person is not being so active playing the song these days. So you have to talk to the person. They themselves, they have even turned themselves as monitors. So there's monitors and then monitors in the system themselves. And it has worked very well. And even the same with television. I have a platform that when I wake up every morning, like every TV station, wherever, every MCR person that is playing the video, wherever you play, you send a copy of the video to the platform. So you wake up in the morning and it's trickling in from TV3 to all Metro, everybody, all of them, they show the timings that was played and everything. If I doubt them and I decide to even call the station and check, you will see that the timings and everything they gave me as they were playing the song is directly in line with whatever that they said. And this is done as artist manager. I mean, a serious one for that, because this, I'm telling you, is not a small exercise. It's a whole mental game. It's a whole training thing. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a whole training thing that you need to go through. If not, Because sometimes you'll be driving on the road. How do you know somebody is playing your music video on television or here and there? How do you know somebody is playing? So, like I'm here, we are here talking. How do I know somebody is playing my song on Adom FM now or is playing on Premiere? The only thing I can know is create a platform that will have all of them there, and then committed individuals working for your interest. So that's what I can answer. If the person was listening to us, listen to us. This is just
right
that you can do.
If I can add to what Dr. Ernest is saying as well, I think one of the things that as a musician you need to do is also, if I know that I've sent music to Uncle Ernest on his show, then it's my responsibility that whenever he's on air, I try and listen to his program.
Okay.
That you can monitor. There are also some radio stations where, you know, if you've gone through the right channels, and some radio stations, the DJs are actually encouraged to be very active on social media. Yeah. And sometimes if a song is being promoted, if that song is played, the presenter will actually tweet. So if I go to my social media and I check notifications, if you check on the notifications, on mentions, you will see everybody at the end of the weekend or the weekend, I can tell the stations that have played Dynasty music over the weekend. Right. Because some of the radio stations, and it doesn't matter which country, it could be in Ghana, it could be in the UK, it could be wherever. But so long as they played her music, some DJs make the effort to actually tweet and say, you know, maybe playing this song by this person. And you see it there. I mean, you know, if you check with Akesi, or you guys check as a son, when I play Akesi's music, I will say coming up, you know, blessed by Akesi, or playing hashtag blessed by Akesi the Lion, and it will be there. You can check all these things, so you can monitor. You can actually see, you know, how your song is actually doing outside. By
mention the Lions.
Yeah, the lion of the tribe of Judah.
Yeah, just
right. Right.
Right, gentlemen, I will have to thank you. I mean, yes, Nii, have the last words, and let's wrap it up.
I think that there's a platform in Ghana that they call themselves Good Music. I try to get some data from them. They at least monitor, I think, 40 plus radio stations throughout Ghana, which I know is not enough because you have over 200 radio stations in Ghana. And they try and get me some.
It's a good start. It's a start.
Yes. Yeah, they try and get me some good data on Akesi's songs and, you know, and all of that. And I've even sent Emile's song, which they give me the data on Thursday. I'll try and get Doctor some data from Emilia and how his songs are doing. And I think they are starting and they are doing well, you know. So I think that those who come and, you know,
you have to recommend it to Uncle Charles to play it in London for me.
I'm waiting for your £1,000 a week. I'm waiting for that to come.
You want to collect unacceptable appreciation?
Yeah, no, my own is acceptable appreciation. Acceptable.
Acceptable. But Daniel, there's one thing before we go up. I want to share a little one. And this I'm talking about hope. There's something we call hope. Every creator has the hope that whatever I am creating will make out the difference in the world out there. And by that, it means that, and I don't know how God made it, but God has made it such that anybody who has got hope naturally will shine one day.
Yeah.
And I've been telling most of our musicians that wherever you are heading in this part of the world, just have hope that this thing that I'm doing small, these songs that I continue to release bit by bit, one day, it will drop in one big man's front. It will drop on a big man's table, and I'll be picked out of the lot, and I'll also shine. And when you have this mentality and this belief, you try to avoid yourself from the circles of competition, because sometimes the battle is not for the swift. It's not for the person who thinks I have the voice. The battle is not for the person who thinks I'm more handsome or I am more beautiful. The battle is not for that person. The battle is not for a person who thinks that I'm a fashionista. I'm the best well-dressed gospel artist among everybody. The battle is not for that person. The battle is not for a person who believes that me, when you come to the microphone techniques, I'm the best. The battle is not for that person. The battle is for a person who is being favored by God.
Right.
And when the favor reaches you, wherever you are, you will shine. With my years, over 20-something years in this trade, I can testify that a lot of artists have shined with grace. They've shined through favor. They've shined through hope. And when you understand this as an artist, it will limit your frustration. It will limit your stress level. That will cause you to go to people and promise them that give me money to produce song, 2 months, I'll come and pay. Give me this to go and record song, 3 months, I'll get the money and come and pay. It is not easy as it is out there. And therefore, limit your expectations and work on yourself. With constant prayer and fortitude, you can make it wherever you are. Thank you.
Wow. This is a high note to end the chat on. Uncle Charles, thank you very much. Doctor.
Yes, I think Dr. Ernest, Dr. Ernest has said everything, and I think all I can add to it is that, I mean, what he said boils down to, I always like to bring scriptures into all of this. The Bible says that as a man thinketh, so is he. Right. And he's talking about being positive about yourself, looking and imagining that you can do. Listen, it is possible for everybody, and it takes time. So in your waiting time, in your waiting period, do not give up. Somebody has just said favor. Sometimes favor comes in various ways. You never know. Keep putting stuff out there. So long as it's quality, you never know whose lap it will go and fall into. You never know when somebody will hear your song and speak to somebody about it.
That is actually the gentleman who won the Emerging Gospel Artist August edition from Coded Studios.
Well, yeah, there you go. Because he put something out there, and there you go. So yeah, I mean, I think
thank you very much. Thank you very much, gentlemen. A lot of questions that come back. We've stretched this. The time is far gone. I know it's
Pastor Helen. I see Pastor Helen giving us some
mommy is around. Mommy.
Pastor Helen, we want to thank you.
Mommy, sit down. Mommy, how are you? Mommy, you promised me some live soup. We need to complete this live soup thing.
You've delivered the message. Let me say thank you. Quickly run through all those that have sent us messages. We have Dr. sending us a message. David Entry, Reverend Denzel Ntiamwa David. That is the heart for Lizzie Ntiamwa. Seta Jenny Mboatin, Kwajo. Kwajo, Adamopambo, Yao, Ayimadu, Amua Kwajo, and a lot of you, Yao Paibo, Francis Nkata, all of you, Lord of Home, Pastor Helen, thank you all. Dr. Kwasi Ernest, thank you very much. I mean, I know it's the first time that I'm having you for such a platform, but you spent hours of your time to join me. Uncle Charles, I mean, it's always a blessing. Since the very first time I started volunteering at AGMMA years ago up till now.
I can't believe it's such a long time, isn't it?
It's been such a long time. From over 2011 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's always a blessing. Nii Noi, we've lost Nii Noi on the connection as well. I'd like to say
down to all the persons who were locked down here because of the corona, please kindly tell them that they can go back home to London because the airport is open.
The airport is open.
They are finishing our food in the restaurant. Let them
go. Doctor, next week, God willing, Akua Emilia is on the chat with me.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Akua Emilia is on the chat with me.
Thank you.
The network is back. So thank you very much to all of you who made time out to join us. God willing, go back, share the video. There is a lot of information that has been shared on here by the
honorable. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, Nii. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I said thank you. I think in Ghana, like Kwasi Ernest say, in Ghana, internet is not too good, so forgive us.
Nii Noi is struggling from internet deficiency.
Internet deficiency.
But anyway, it's been a blessing. I'm sure that this information will be a blessing to a lot of people in the future. So go back and watch the video, share, and then let everyone be blessed. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. God richly bless
I think then we need to come back again. The next time we gather, we need to come back again and look at copyright.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. Yeah, we will have to. Yeah, we will have to. God willing, I'll reach out to you or schedule a time early next month. Let's come and do copyright, because I think it's one area we need to have a conversation on and get some information out there as well. Okay. God richly bless you.
God bless you. God bless you. Dr. Ernest, God bless you. God bless
Uncle,
you.
thank you. Right. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Wow, it's been great, and thank you for staying with me. Just before you go, don't forget, I think it has started by now. Emmanuel Smith has a live virtual concert that is happening. They call it From the Well Experience. Right from here, if you've not joined, you can go and search it. I'll play the ads shortly. And also, Mr. Eugene Zuta released this week. Papa, go check it out and let it bless you. There was another release, a couple of releases. There was another one by Jackie. I was supposed to have Jackie on the show. Jackie Forua Manfo. She was one of the earliest guests on Chat with Daniel Dadson. So she has a track out, Dear God. And I'll play out one from Nanajua. And Nanajua released one, the video for shedding, great one. But for now, let me say a very big thank you to you for joining. Sick and say, I just have some videos to play for you to enjoy before I go. But before that, let's take this couple of messages from Pay Angel Money Transfer, and also from Pay Angel Money Transfer. There is Kaya Marketing Service. Salute to you, Honorable Abeku Santana Agri, and all of you. God bless you.
Does your business, alumni, charity, or church receive payments from abroad? As you know, receiving bill payments, membership dues, and donations from abroad can be very expensive and frustrating. Matching incoming payments to the sender can be tedious. Transfers are returned due to incorrect payment information. Transfers take ages to arrive, and when they do, reconciliation is a nightmare. Worry no more. Say hello to Pay Angel. Regulated and licensed to operate throughout Europe and Canada, Pay Angel is Africa's fastest growing remittance company. Pay Angel is trusted. Now, we're offering you and your organization a hassle-free and no-cost way of receiving payments from abroad. With a 3-minute sign-up process, you can receive all kinds of payments, including mortgage payments, insurance premiums, fees, donations, and dues, at no cost to you or the sender. Receive instant transaction notifications on your phone and via email. Receive funds in your account within 24 hours. And track, review, and download transactions in Excel for your accounting. Sign up today and give your customers or members the chance to send money to you free of charge, and importantly, without any hassle. How? Log on to payangel.com/partner and sign up. Then, add your bank account or mobile money wallet details. That's it. Now your customers can easily make payments to you using Pay Angel without the hassle of trying to find or remember your payment account details. Join the Pay Angel Partner Program now and find out why we are Africa's payment expert. For more information, email marketing@payangel.com or call +233 540 126 342 or +447 55 155 0002.
Shedding
better life will be. Lord, fill me up and make me whole. That's it, my mom and Sasu. Brana Bashem, mom. Oh Lord, have your way till I overflow. The more I have you, the better life will be. Lord, fill me up and make me whole. That's the bread my mom and Sasu. Brana Bashem, mom.